In this video, I'm going to talk about the things that I would write to my younger self. Now, looking back at when I first started in the trade, I was a teenager. In fact, technically, I was 14. When I went full time, I was 18, I believe, 18 or 19. And it's been a long trip in the trade. I've been many things. I've been an installer, a service tech, an owner, a podcaster, a YouTuber. And I was wondering, what would I tell myself to prepare myself for a lifetime of trade life and trade afterlife? Well, if I was looking back, I would probably tell myself that I was going to see some things and experience things in my life that were very painful and very life altering, and there's no way you can predict those things either in your career or out. Or maybe I wouldn't even mention that at all. I don't know. I don't know what you'd say to your younger self if you'd even want to say those things, because how do you prepare somebody for, losing a loved one, or having kids, or having those kids get sick, or getting married and experiencing the ups and downs of marriage? I don't know how you tell somebody about that. I don't know how you tell somebody that you're going to do jobs some days that are so difficult and grueling that you're going to question your decision to go into the trade at all. And there'll be times when it seems like that is perpetual, like every single day is like that. There'll be times when you get just rave reviews from homeowners and you'll feel like you're the hero of the day. You'll fix a problem and they'll be so happy that it'll make it all worthwhile that day. Then there'll be a homeowner that will also tell you that because the unit is slightly too loud, they're very disappointed that you did such a poor job when everything else was perfect. There'll be people that totally misunderstand what it is to own an air conditioner in the first place. They won't know that heat pumps defrost in the wintertime and make smoke, but that smoke is not coming from a fire running inside of the unit. And that happens every year. They'll say, why is this room colder than the other room? A lot of times. Why is this room hotter than the other room? Why is my energy bill too high, even though it might have been 95 every single day of the month? There'll be things to deal with like that all the time. And if you're the owner, it happens all the time because the buck stops with you, so you catch every complaint. Now, in a single man company like mine, you catch every complaint because there's no one else to be a buffer between you and the customer. A lot of larger companies, they have front office staff, they have different personnel that address issues like that. But for the owner of a one-man company, you're pretty much shouldering the burden. Now, you do get all the praise and all the glory, but the burdens can be weighty, especially when there's a bad run. A lot of times there could be a bad run when maybe some equipment has an issue, and it happens for every brand. They'll have an issue, whether it be a Goodman reversing valve or a Train TXV or an evaporator coil in the mid-2000s of any brand, it seems like. There's going to be bad runs, and it's going to fall directly on your face every single time. That was one of the more difficult things to deal with customers that were having issue after issue, and you had no control over how that issue was happening. You didn't know that the machines were going to have a run of bad luck. And if you're a single man company or a small company and you put in one brand and that brand has a string of failures, it can really damage your business quite a bit. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell my younger self, that the manufacturers that I have dealt with do not care. And that might be because of the size of my company or what, but they will do anything they can to not pay for something or to put a product out that maybe helps rust inhibitor issue problem. They'll AC renew your problem instead of actually dealing with anything. And you can't count on them to do something about it. It's what I always say when you're calculating the price of something or how much something will cost. You don't just calculate, say, all right, I'm going to sell something for 20 bucks and it costs me $8 to make it. So if someone says, wow, that's way too much money. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how business works. That's why a lot of times businesses don't go into the exact cost of things with their customers, because their customers won't understand that that looks like it's $12 profit. Well, it's not $12 profit. $12 gets spread a whole bunch of different ways into a business. You have the cost of a good, then you have all the services that you provide, then you have all the insurance, and it really piles up after a while. But I'll tell you that customers rarely understand that. And there's still a mentality out in the world that if you go to Walmart and Walmart buys something for $9, they should sell it to you for $9. There's people that think that. And it's a large group of people that think that. So going into how something is priced is probably not wise most of the time. I think that's why those sales companies and flat rate companies rename their products like the voltage absorber instead of capacitor, so they don't have to deal with issues like that. Now, I don't really like that sort of idea, but I can also understand why it's done. It doesn't mean it's a good idea. It's difficult. This video is brought to you by freetogrow.com. It is an AI service. You'll see the website here on the screen, and it can help take the burden off a lot of your front office staff, especially if you have a larger business. Using this service is going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to allow the AI that they provide, artificial intelligence, not robots, but it's artificial intelligence that'll help you answer phone calls and deal with customer complaints, especially some of the light duty ones, and dispense with those instead of having to put staff on them every single time. So if you're a larger company or even a mid-sized company or even a small company with a front office staff, this is a great service for you to use to help bring some time back to your company where it was losing time, and definitely bring some money back you would have lost by chasing those customers' problems and dealing with all sorts of stuff, especially in the summer months where it gets piled upon you. So think about trying freetogrow.com. Go there and find out about it. Tell them Zack sent you and that you love him, so they'll stay my sponsor forever. I'd probably tell my younger self to just plug on through, even if it costs you, because there's too many times when you're up against a wall that you make a bad or amoral, we'll call it amoral, immoral decision, because you have everything to lose. And it's very difficult to risk everything to try to be honest or have integrity. A lot of people, including myself, have faltered in those situations, and I would probably tell myself just to suck it up, because the consequences of compromising yourself are worse than being put out financially. Even if you lose everything, there's a special kind of torment that comes from compromising your integrity on a regular basis, especially. And you can't get rid of that easily. And it's sort of like an internal darkness that comes up inside of you that if you don't deal with and reverse, it sort of eats away at you. And before you know it, you can really tell the difference between the 14-year-old that laughed and joked around and was going to his job and maybe not taking it seriously, to the 50-year-old that doesn't laugh at all and doesn't think anything is funny anymore and is angry about 75% of the time. It's easy to get to that guy from the other guy, and they wouldn't even recognize each other at all. So you have to watch out, because a lot of that, I think, is from compromising your integrity, taking money above all too seriously. I'm sitting here and I'm not in financial, I don't have financial wealth. Much the opposite. Most of the time we've struggled and fought our entire lives, and this current time is no exception to that. But I also know that if you lose that part of yourself that does the right thing, that you will have a hard time getting that back. So make sure that you do your best to keep that, even if you lose something else. That's probably the most important lesson. There'll be hard days out there. There'll be a lot of hard days, and you'll be tempted to fold under the pressure. Just try not to. Try to push forward, and you'll be stronger because of it. Now, I don't want to ramble too long, but I was thinking about this because I was listening to Brad Paisley's letter to me, and I thought of this, and I thought it would be a good thing to talk about. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and God bless each and every one of you.
Save 8% off your order at TruTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code.